Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching every day. So I've been receiving a lot of letters and texts from you guys, and the big deal to you, and it's a good question, is about starting your garden. And that sounds like a lot of fun, and you know what you're eating when you have your own garden. But the deal is, it costs so much to get started. Actually, it doesn't cost that much at all. If you have a yard and you cut grass at least once every couple of weeks or so, you can actually turn those grass cuttings into fertilizer, and it's the best fertilizer ever for your garden, and you're going to be saving a lot of money. Now, before I knew about grass clippings from field cutting the grass, I was spending a lot of money on fertilizer. And then you would have to hope it was organic. You know, sometimes, and I know you find this hard to believe, but sometimes people don't quite tell the truth. And so even on a label, you really have to dig into reading that label, because you can see in the tiny print may not be exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so grass clippings, that's the way to go. I have some videos. I want to show you step 1, step 2, and step 3. So let's just take a look. It'll take just a few minutes. I know, going ahead and laugh, I get so excited of some of the simplest things. And one of those is grass clippings. Yeah, when Phil cuts the grass, he cuts 2 yards. Our house, both our houses, one mother lives in and one we live in. So needless to say, when he cuts the grass, there's a lot of it. So you can see right here, I've already started the grass tea, and this is going to turn into a liquid fertilizer. So take a look at that. It sounds like amazing. I love it. So what I'm going to do, I want to show you how I'm doing this. Okay, now first of all, we have all of the grass is in all 4 of these containers right here. So what you do is you fill it up about 2/3 of the way. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. So the 4 you see right there, this one, this one, this one, and this one, have already been filled up. Again, 2/3 of grass cuttings. It doesn't even matter if you have weeds in it. We're not going to care. Now this is a 2-week process here. You can do it in a week, but I want it to be long and drawn out. We're going to do 2 weeks of this. So you're seeing the beginning stage of this. Okay, so you can also see in this container and also in the other container, this one right here, I'm going to fill those up with water. And so what's going to happen is this luscious green stuff is going to turn into grass tea. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to come back. We're going to look at it. We're going to cover everything. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. You need to cover. See, like so. And these are just some old beer kegs that Brian Brown gave me one day, and he said, can you find some use for those? And he said, grass cuttings would be great. Grass tea, liquid fertilizer, won't cost you anything but the grass and that little bit of water you put in there. So you put a top on it, just like I did with this one right here. You can see that one. And so let's go ahead and fill it up with water. And so I've got most of the work done, so you'll just be able to see what I'm doing right here. Let's fill it up. Let's just shower it instead of jet. I'll shower the water in there, and it'll still do its thing. So I want to fill this thing. Now I'm going in a round motion, okay? I really want that water to soak in there. Okay, because again, this is going to be liquid fertilizer. This is going to save so much money, because I have, well, you see the garden, I have a lot of stuff out here, and man, it costs a lot of money to buy fertilizer for all of this. Now what we're going to do, 2 weeks, we're going to take another good look at it. I'm going to get some old curtains. They need to be cotton curtains, okay? Don't get anything that's like polyester or anything like that, or plastic, nothing like that. It's going to work, it'll serve almost as a cheesecloth. And so with this cheesecloth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of the grass cuttings, all the grass clippings, in another bucket, but I'm going to put the curtain in the bucket first. Then I'll pour all of this in it. I'm going to let it drain though as much as possible. Then what I'm going to do is folded over almost like a big ponytail or a great big huge tea bag. I guess that would be a good analogy. So I'll do that and let it drain and let it drip for a couple of days, and all of that luscious liquid that you're going to see coming in there is going to save me hundreds of dollars on liquid fertilizer. And I'm just going to tell you, it's all natural. I don't have to worry about what's been put in it. We don't use any fertilizers on the grass out here. Everything we do is natural. We even use the grass clippings around the trees sometimes. The compost pile, I think you've probably seen that a few times. And so that's what it's all about. Now the deal when you are making, let's say you're making your compost, you want to have some brown and some green. So brown and green, brown and green, brown and green. Now the neat thing about the grass clippings, when they're not in water, they're going to turn brown pretty quick. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about in just a minute. And so it's constantly, you're turning it over, and you can't buy compost like this. I mean, it's like a really dark brown dirt. And you can use it in all of your gardening. Even the weather has been just weirdo this year, like bizarro weird. So even with this wet, crazy, late fall frost and all this weird stuff that we've had this year, I still had a good, decent garden. Only thing was a horrible crop was my blueberries this year. They were horrid. So next year I'm looking forward to it. But what you always do is you're always planning for the next year. Okay, I think that's going to fill it up. And I'm going to put a top on it, and we are going to be done. But before we go, I'll show you the compost pile. So how quick this stuff, if you don't put water in it, how quick it turns brown. Just letting you look out and see all of the stuff we have in the garden. There's the original block garden. And then on down from there, you'll see our other garden and how luscious it is. Just wonderful. The bees are having a good time out there as well. Our fruit trees, we had that late frost, so I was just disappointed, you know, because I was wanting some peaches. But, you know what, we had an overabundance of peaches and pears and apples last year, so, you know, kind of giving me a break. There's the pond. Oh man, I love that pond. My kitchen window looks outside that pond. So, I tell you what, it's one of my favorite places on earth is that pond. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the brown. Now, Phil cuts grass like, oh gosh, he and Roger across the street, I think they're in a competition to see who can cut the grass the most. So anyway, that's what that grass starts looking like in just a couple of days in this hot, sultry weather we have out here. And another thing we're going to do, we talked about ash the other day and using ash out in the garden. So this is a burn pile that we have, and you can see some of the ash out in there. So I'm going to do some experiments on the dark ash out there and the black ash, and we're going to see what we can do with that as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and looking forward to getting this liquid gold done. You take care. Okay, so the key things I really want you to take away with you out of this first video here is, first of all, as soon as the grass is cut, I'm sitting out here waiting on Phil. He has this contraption in the back of his big lawnmower he uses, his tractor, and so it gathers all of the grass clippings. And as soon as, I mean, I'm sitting out there like a spider waiting on him. So as soon as he has finished, I start getting those grass clippings as green and as fast again as I can. Start putting those in buckets. You'll also start feeling the heat. It's the composition. This is a science. If you love science, you're going to love how this works. So I'm just talking about the sheer heat of it. So you go ahead and put the grass clippings in there and get the hose pipe out, start filling it up just like I did in the video. And the thing about it is you're going to feel the heat of this. It's an incredible heat amount that you're going to feel out of it. And then another thing is, everything I read on how this works, people were saying, you know, keep the water on the compost for, you know, at least 2 weeks. I found 2 to 3 weeks. I found 3 works, actually absolutely works the best. I don't know whether warmer weather or cooler weather, I don't know how that works yet. I've only tried this in extremely hot weather, and it does work really well. Another thing you want to take away with you is this stuff has a horrible scent to it. I mean, it's just terrible. So I wanted to make you aware, don't be downwind of it. But I'm going to tell you, the money you save is absolutely incredible. Let's go on ahead before we go into a commercial break and look at step 2. I know, going ahead and laugh. I get so excited of some of the simplest things. And one of those is grass clippings. Yeah, when Phil cuts the grass, he cuts 2. Okay, folks, so this is step 2. And what we are making is a tee. It's like a tee by using grass that's been cut up by the lawnmower. And this is like a really, really good compound that you can use in all of your gardening. I mean, your flowers and your garden is going to absolutely love this. And it's just full of all kinds of ingredients. The rooster, every time I come out, he loves the attention. So he wants to come out and get some attention. Okay, so what we need is an empty bucket, and which I've got right there. So that's an empty one. Then what I'm going to do, and I'll turn this around so you can see it. So what I'm going to do right now is you can use like an old sheet, old curtains, old whatever. You can go to the thrift store and find stuff. So I'm going to use this. And the reason I'm going to do this is I want to sift out the grass that's in this stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to put this down as far as I can get it. And then what I'm going to do is pour this bucket, or any of them, it doesn't matter which one. So this has been sitting out here for about 3 weeks. And what happens is all those really wonderful nutrients are down in that water. So again, this is going to make such a great fertilizer. And I'm going to keep doing this probably about a couple of times a year. And I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 buckets of this. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put this down as far as we can. And I'm going to pour into the bucket. And yeah, we can use like this one right here, I think. And so Phil is out here with me. So what I'm going to do is hold on while you're pouring it out here. Now I promise you this is going to smell terrible. A terrible fragrance. Okay, oh, now one thing we could do is we can lift out some of, I'll tell you what, this one right here might be the quickest one to get to. Now, I'm warning you, the only thing about this is it does have a horrible smell to it. I mean, it's just terrible. Okay, so look at all this luscious stuff. I know it looks weird, but I want to tell you, it smells pretty close to manure. It has a terrible fragrance. You smell that, Phil? It is horrid. I mean, this is just a terrible fragrance. So what you do, so we're going to make a tea out of it. So what we're going to do is hold this up. Whoop, wait, something's going to come out right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tie it, and I've got to get something to tie it with. But before we do that, Phil, let me show everybody what this looks like. I mean, it looks like mud. This is pure fertilizer. You cannot buy it like that. I mean, this is like the best. So what's going to happen, we're going to tie this up, and then we're going to hang it up, and then the rest of the luscious stuff is going to come out in here, and then we're going to have a garden like you wouldn't believe. But thank you so much for watching. That's how you do it. It's that simple. That simple. Go to the thrift store, go to Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, wherever you live, and buy these up, okay? And that's going to help. A lot of people use cheesecloth, but this is much better. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, folks, so this is step 2, and what we are making, I'm just telling you, that's the best stuff. It doesn't take much to make me happy, does it? But it does have an odor to it. And but I love the money I'm saving. But now any fertilizer is going to have a real weird odor to it anyway. So, but anyway, if you see what we did, also I kind of squeezed it as Phil was holding it up. I've squeezed it after the video, and you can actually see more of the fertilizer go down into the bucket. I had plenty. I've got a huge garden, and I had plenty. Now I'll continue to keep his grass clippings, and I'll continue to make more. Let's go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a minute. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we're back. I want to show you another video, and this is just about 3 days after I had put some of this compost fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, on my new plants coming in. I planted some beans that I hope to have a fall garden with, and I did go on ahead and put them in water so they started sprouting. Then I put them into the ground, and I just want you to see what it has already done. And my lettuce, we are in hot weather. I mean, we're looking at, it feels like 100 degrees outside, and it's not really good for lettuce when it gets that hot. But I want you to see how pretty it looks just after, again, 3 days of putting this compost. I mean, it's just amazing. Okay, there's the rooster at it. So this is just a couple of days after I have put some of that grass tea on some of my new plants. And here's some kale, and it's already doing some really good. I'm just noticing a difference, a color of the green. It just looks more vibrant because it's getting the nutrients it needs from the grass tea. And I planted some beans. I'm getting ready for a fall garden, and so I wanted to show you, see how they're coming up. Now I started these out as sprouts, and so they're looking really good. Then I wanted to bring you out here as well to the garden and just let you see a difference that the grass tea has made in my lettuce. You know, we're still having some hot days out here. It's just terrible, like terrible hot. And so it's just been just horrible for my lettuce. And I just want you to look at it. I mean, look at the vibrant green on it. They look fabulous. And even in this hot, almost 100-degree weather, they're still looking good. I also put the lavender was looking a little puny. I cut some of it off though and made some tea and went on ahead and canned it because we love lavender, and drinking it as a tea is really good for you as well. Tomatoes are still looking really good. It's a fertilizer. You can make it on your own. I'm just telling you, it's the best thing you can get. You cannot buy it that potent, and I don't water it down either. I mean, I put it on as it is. Just wanted to show you what this stuff is doing to my tomatoes. They're loving it. Again, you can't buy anything that good. Look at them. I'm going to have to take some of these off because there's so many of them. It's going to cause an issue with them turning red. And so right now there's a bunch of blue ones. Now it is helping though, because we've had such hot weather. It's hard for these tomatoes to actually, try to turn red. When you have that many, and again the nutrients are just exactly what they need. Look at those aromas. Absolutely beautiful. But anyway, I'm happy. I will always do this. I just think it's great. Oh, and I wanted to show you also, let's get out of focus there just a bit. So this is a pile. I told Phil to start a pile right here. And so we're letting this green grass that's turning brown, and to have the right kind of fertilizer, you've got to have green and you've got to have brown. And this stuff just looks so awesome when the ground under it just looks so good. Okay. Oh, and the peanuts, I wanted to give you a little quick rundown on them and how they're doing. I can hardly wait. Still going to be a couple of months before I can harvest them, but take a look out of Blunt Garden what this is doing. I think it's great. And I'm letting some of the butter beans just kind of dry. We like dried butter beans, so that's what he's doing his thing too. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I highly recommend you make your own fertilizer out of cut grass. By the way, one disclaimer though about cut grass: it cannot have any kind of insecticide on it. So, and we don't put anything. It's just in its rare form. So that's going to make the best. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so we're back. It's amazing what it does. Already, I just noticed the color of the green leaves. Now, really the first day, I just didn't have a camera out. But after the third day, it was just totally amazing. I mentioned the lavender, cutting out some of the lavender. And so I wound up with, I think it was 8 pints of this. And this is really good stuff. It's called a sugar water. And so what you do is you get the leaves and you cut them up. You need to bruise the leaves so you can get all of the oils coming out of it, and then you boil it with your sugar. It's equal amount. So if you had, say, a cup of leaves, you would need a cup of sugar and also a cup of water. You want to boil it for like 15 minutes and then just let it set for 24 hours. And this stuff is really good for you. So in the morning, what we do is a tablespoon and just about 2 ounces of water will do, and it tastes good, and you'll get a lot of energy. Plus, I know that I've not used anything I shouldn't use in my garden. Now, this is from rose leaves or rose petals. See how pretty that is? It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little bit thicker for some reason than the lavender, and I use citrus, by the way, lemon verbena in both of those. So I wound up with this, and this smells really good. Again, rose petals. Rose petals are full of all kinds of vitamins. You've got vitamin C in it, vitamin D, and I love my rose petal. And again, in the morning, so you want like 1 tablespoon to about 2 ounces of water, and it makes a really good tea. But I wanted to go over with you also some of the benefits of using this tea. There was an effect found by using compost tea. Again, this is all science. And you'll find this in sustinerip.com. compost.org. And you can find all kinds of great information about it. But compost tea at a concentration of 4%, mine's much more than that. I mean, I put it on there, I douse it. I showed the most effective growth for root and foliage perimeters in red leaf lettuce, but I've noticed it in everything I put it on. Concentrations of 8% showed significant root stimulation in green corn and soybean crops, if you want soybeans. The bacteria were the most dominant microorganism out of all the compost teas, regardless of the original compost composition. Now let's talk about the effects. So this study observed significant inhibition of cell growth in the fungus pea through both aerated and non-aerated tea treatment. Furthermore, the fungal suppression was significantly higher from teas made with the lawn cuttings. And again, now the point is, as soon as you get off that lawnmower, you need to go ahead and throw it in a bucket. The quicker you do this, the better the tea is going to be. Now, all the tested compost tea stimulated seed germination in tomatoes and root growth in sweet peppers. And by the way, my jalapeno peppers were just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And I thought, well, it's because I put them in concrete blocks. There's just something not quite right. The leaves didn't look quite right. I should have taken a video of that so you could have seen that. So now, tiny, tiny little jalapeno peppers are on my plants after 3 days. Now, after treatment with this tea brewed for 168 hours, dried organic matter in tomatoes increased by 122% compared to the group that did not have this grass tea in it. The data showed that while it did not differ from nutrient content, there was a significant difference in effect fungal suppression in favor of the grass clippings tea. Now, also, this person found in the research similar results in crop growth, even in studies that primarily focused on disease suppression. And I wanted to mention one other thing, too, before we go. And this is, this guy actually tried 2 compost teas. One is that he did compost in 2 weeks, and the one was left it in before he started straining anything out. And then the other one was 3 weeks, and so he came up with the same advantage I did. 3 weeks, I'm not sure you'd want to go past 3 weeks, but I'm going to try it. Okay, so when tested for fungus control, both the teas inhibited growth by 100% when left unsterilized by filtration or heat. So you want to make sure you filter it really well. It needs to be only liquid, none of the grass clippings out of there. Now, what did I do with the grass clippings? I threw it in a compost pile in my regular big bin that I have, and that really worked. Now, let's see. Another thing I wanted to mention, let's see. When sterilized with extreme heat, which we've been having here in North Alabama, the compost tea performs insignificant to the control group, which was treated with plain water. In other words, he didn't see any difference with just using it straight out of the hose pipe and then using any kind of a filtered water. So that compost, I'm going to tell you what, I love it, and I will always do this. Conclusion is there are massive benefits to fertilizing your garden by compost tea. Applying compost tea helps your plants grow fuller, stimulates their root growth, and it also helps fight off common pathogens that will get in there and cause disease in your plants. It's also incredibly simple to brew and easy to apply, so go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to try it. Phil would cut grass year-round if I'd let him, if we had enough to grow. So I'm going to try it when we get a little bit later in the season and see how it works out as well, when the weather's a whole lot cooler outside. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please send an email to Donna at donnasedge.com. I'll see you in another show shortly.